Chris here, and welcome to my review of the Taotronics Soundliberty 80s. So these are the open ear style of earbuds, like the AirPods, and they are more comfortable. A lot of people do favor these and like them because they are so comfortable compared to in-ears, whereas some people just cannot wear the in-ears. They find them to be a little bit painful after a few hours, or they just build up heat or pressure wearing them. So these are very, very comfortable. That's one of the big positives with this kind of style. But normally they do, for me at least, lack a little bit in bass, but not these ones here. They're actually surprisingly good when it comes to the bass. So they claim that these will run for up to 4 hours on a single charge. You get an additional 4 charges from the case. And in this review, I will give you a sample of the apparent AI noise cancelling microphones. Will they block out the background ambient noise? I will test that out. And these do also support aptX and your AAC codec too for you Apple users out there. The Soundliberty 80s do come nicely packaged up. So inside here you will find first the quick start guide. Now this is quite good to actually read this and check it out because there are some voice controls and the commands are right there if you were going to be using the voice controls, that is. Now there's an 18th month warranty here, as you can see with this card, and their support numbers too. User guide, which goes into a lot of detail in various different languages. And we have a Type-C cable to USB right here. So you just use your mobile phone charger to charge these. It's a tiny little cable as well. Very, very short, this one, as you can see. Look at how short it is. But that's all we need to charge these. So this case is a very nice compact size. The weight in total is 49 grams. There's a status LED right here. We have the Taotronics logo, and at the bottom here, the Type-C port. So charge time is approximately 2 hours. The earbuds will take about an hour and a half to charge as well. And there's a little button here on the back, and this is to check on the status of them. And also if you press and hold it, this is how we can also reset them. So quick and easy resetting of these earbuds if you wanted to pair them up to another device, that is. The hinge here is metal, and there are magnets that keep this lid in place. Now the earbuds themselves, they weigh just 5 grams each. They are very comfortable, very light, and the paint job, the finish on the outside of this plastic is a rubberized paint and material they've used. So it gives it a bit of a texture, a nice soft feel to it, a bit of grip too, so it's not a slippery case. Overall, a very good build quality and nice compact size. This case also does give us an additional 4 charges. Looking at the build of the earbuds now, so they have this, what goes from a green to then a blue to a purple chrome-like finish on the outside. This is where our touch controls are, and you do have voice commands with this as well. So you just touch on this surface, and the touch controls being capacitive, I do find sometimes to be a little bit hit and miss. They don't work 100% of the time for me, more like 9 to 8 times out of 10. And this is a very common complaint I have with the capacitive touch controls. So on the other side here, you will see the Pogo port pin connectors. We have a microphone clearly labeled left or right. And when you pull just one of them out of the case, it will pair up only one, and you can use them then in a mono mode. So the plastics used, the build quality is good. There are no sharp edges, no uneven edges around here, and high quality materials. So these earbuds, they do support the AAC codec. aptX is there, and that is what I'm using, or the standard SBC. To me, the aptX one does sound the best. It also offers the best latency. This particular device that I have, that I'm testing them with this phone, is the K30 Pro Zoom, and it does tell me the codec here with Xiaomi software, which is really good. And that's one of the reasons I like to use this particular phone too as well. Battery life is listed there. Most devices, even Windows 10, when I connect them up to that, just to do the microphone sample, will let me know the battery life. So how do they sound out of the box? The tune out of the box is definitely favoring bass. Now, these have a surprising amount of bass for open ears. Normally with the open ear style, I don't particularly go for them because I prefer to have the silicone tips with a very good seal for both the passive noise cancellation, but normally the deep, powerful bass. The bass on these will not be able to better the likes of the in-ear ones with the silicone tips. However, for open ear, it does offer powerful bass. The volume is loud, it's decent, but certainly not the loudest. I wish it was a little bit louder. The mids are quite flat. The treble, the highs is lacking a little bit for my taste. Now, this is all subjective, of course. Now, I have noticed that the soundstage, the instruments seem to be quite forward, and for some reason, the vocals I find to be a step back, if that makes sense. It feels like the vocalist, the singer, is somewhat back to what I'm used to with listening to other earbuds. And I'm not too sure why the reason this is. It's just the tune it has out of the box. But overall, I think the bass definitely there if you want the bass for open ears, and this is the style you like. I don't really think they're going to be much more powerful than this. And overall, I think it's good. It's just those areas could be slightly improved upon, but you use an equalizer like this one here with power amp to adjust it to your personal preference. Boost up the mids, increase the highs a little bit, and then they do sound quite decent. And what about the latency? So using the aptX codec, I'm not noticing any issues with the delay, especially when watching Netflix or Amazon Prime Video, which I'm testing right now. When people are speaking, it does go with their mouth perfectly. It's perfectly timed here with this particular phone, but it will vary. I have noticed in the past that when using iPhones, there has been a bit of a delay, a few milliseconds, that sometimes the voice is out. So it's going to vary from phone to phone, but with this phone and using the aptX codec, it is perfect, the audio sync. Sample now of the microphones here that are in the Soundliberty 80. So these ones have some AI active noise cancellation to try and get clear calls from the mics. And this has been recorded directly to the timeline of my video editor. So right now I'm going to play an ambient soundtrack in the background of a noisy train station. Let's see how it handles this. So I'm going to hit play now on that track. So I have quite a bit of noise now in the background. Am I still coming through clearly with these? Now with that ambient noise, which I'm going to turn off now. A handy feature that these earbuds do have is that when you take them out or place them in your ears, they will automatically turn on or off. And that's a good feature to have that does come in handy to save battery life. And speaking of which, battery life runtime on these is not amazing. They claim 4 hours, and I'm getting just over around 3.5 hours out of these earbuds. And that's going to depend on how loud, of course, you're listening to music and the genre of music too. Onto the fit now and the comfort of wearing these. So they fit in my ear just fine, and I haven't had them fall out on me. They are really, really comfortable. So that's one of the things, probably the big positive, and why people still like the open ear style and why they will probably still exist in the market is because of their comfort. They don't give you a full seal because there is no silicone in there. So you don't get the seal, you don't get the passive noise isolation. And a lot of people do like this. You can still hear your surroundings, but it won't block out noises like others do to give you more immersion, just let you zone out and get into your zone there listening to your music. Not as much with these. So if I was to jump up and down, they occasionally feel like they may pop out on me. So and now and then I go like this. So definitely not for sports wearers. There are other designs out there that have the ear hooks, and even Taotronics, they have similar ones with the silicone tips that are in-ear ones that have a much better fit, and the more sports-orientated ones. If you were going to be like running or doing cross-training and whatever, you need ones that stay in all the time. But walking around the house here, no problems, and just a slight little jog or something, fine, but just the occasional, yes, maybe they could pop out on me. The Bluetooth 5 distance that it has seems to be pretty much the same as any other Bluetooth 5 tech that I'm testing, so we get around about like 5 meters or so. I can make it halfway down the stairs before one of them will start to break up, so that's okay. It's kind of normal there. And then the battery life. So battery life is not amazing on these, so you're looking at slightly under 4 hours, I think, for most people. So why is the battery life so kind of low compared to the other models out there? It's again because of the design, because of the open ear. They have to push higher volumes as a result, and that of course uses more battery. And that is why we're not getting the same battery life you would from in-ear ones with this particular design. So the bass is actually surprisingly good, again, for this design. The mids are, yeah, I mean, they're all right. The highs as well, a little bit of a boost with a graphics equalizer certainly does help out there. And if you're into the big bass and this style, then I think these are ones to look at out there. And then the microphone quality, that sample I gave you of the mics, I think is pretty decent. It's quite good. The active noise cancelling that it has for the microphones, that is, they don't have active noise cancelling these themselves, but the mics do. They apply some noise cancelling for noisy ambient backgrounds. Did actually work. I still came out quite clear from that sample I gave you. So there we go. That is my review there of the Taotronics, the Soundliberty 80s. Thank you so much for watching this review.